So this new movie, Sinners, is doing really well in the box office, which is awesome. I always love when an original film cleans up in the box office. We obviously are desperate for more original films. You know, we're tired of superhero movies. We're tired of remakes and sequels and prequels and everything else they keep throwing at us. So whatever movie gets the job done, I'm down with. Whatever movie shows the studios that we want original movies, I will support that movie. But the movie Sinners in particular has this already has this argument on the internet going on around it. And of course it's expected whenever you get a movie nowadays that is I think Jordan Peele is kind of the first guy that I think of when I think of these movies that develop these arguments, with Get Out back in 2017. Right, Get Out was it came out and it was heralded by the press and by a lot of people online as the fucking just the greatest thing you've ever seen in your entire fucking life. This is a masterpiece. There is nothing wrong with it. By the way, let me point out that Get Out to me is just a whatever movie. I have it on DVD in my collection. I've watched it like once or twice. I don't really care for it. And it has nothing to do with the politics of it or the message behind it. It's simply just I think there's a plot hole that I can't ignore in it. So I'm not a fan of it artistically. I judge movies artistically. There are plenty of movies with like political messages that I don't agree with or that I don't care about, but I still love. Um, One example I can think of is the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, what I consider to be the greatest horror film of all time. One of the messages in that movie is kind of about the treatment of animals in the meatpacking industry. That's not something that I disagree with or think is not important to look at. It's just something that I don't spend much time thinking about or care about too much, to be honest. I eat meat and I've always eaten meat, and then I'm probably going to continue eating meat. But nonetheless, I still think it's a fantastic movie. It is a perfect movie, in my opinion. And so I don't necessarily make up my mind on movies because of the politics or the social commentary in the movie. A lot of people do, and that's fine. I think those people have opinions that also should be respected. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't think those opinions should be respected, and that's when you get into these arguments on Twitter. And there's one person in particular that I'm only bringing up because I've been watching this guy for a long time. James A. Janice from the Dead Meat channel, or James A. Janice, that plucky guy, that plucky motherfucker. Dude, I have a love hate relationship with the guy. I've been watching his channel forever. I've kind of been off of him for a while now. I haven't been watching too much. He just put up a kill count for Maniac from 1980. I fucking love that movie. So, of course, I watched that video and it was an awesome time. I had a good time. But he just does some things once in a while that I think, you know. And today is going to be one of those examples. He tweeted about Sinners. He tweeted about Sinners and he said, "Oh man, Sinners rules. Incredible soundtrack and cast. A oneer in the middle made me tear up with the humanity on display." So, this kind of makes me think of remember when we started getting into a big national conversation about weed and whether weed should be legal or whether it should be frowned upon or smiled upon or whatever. And you had all these stoners coming out saying that weed cures cancer. Anybody else remember that? I know you do. Potheads came out all across the country and started claiming that studies found that smoking pot kills cancer cells in you, thus killing and curing your cancer. And it was like, okay, man, I was down to have this conversation with you, but now that you're talking about how pot cures cancer, I don't really think there's any need to continue like moving forward. That's the vibe I get out of this. You got this guy claiming that he cried during this movie. This is a movie about vampires, by the way. From what I understand, I haven't seen this movie yet. That's why I'm reserving my judgment on it. But that's also kind of what I'm talking about how the internet argument turns me off from even wanting to see it. I still will see it, but I will see it, with a grain of salt, I guess, and a chip on my shoulder about it. From what I read on Wikipedia, the most basic form of the plot is basically just there's a group of black people and a group of KKK vampires. And the black people have to overcome and fight and kill the KKK vampires. I love movies that are like time pieces, historical pieces where you kind of insert an X factor into them. So I think of that Abraham Lincoln movie that came out forever ago that had vampires in the Civil War. I would love to see vampires in World War II. I think that's the next thing we should do. We should do vampire Nazis. Just my opinion. Hopefully somebody hears this and picks that up and runs with it. But yeah, things like this kind of make me, okay, so you cried. You cried during a movie about KKK vampires and, black people killing them. Whatever, I guess. Then he says, and the fact that the main vampire was Irish really drove home his motive slash pitch. I've been seeing that too. You see people that are saying, this is just a typical movie about black guys killing white people. And some people will argue, well, no, the vampire was Irish. There has something to do with him being Irish, which, like I said, I haven't seen it yet, so I really can't say. But yeah, no, this is the tweet. Really, like I said, I think really oversold this movie. But then it gets worse because you go down to these two first tweets. The only two tweets that James responded to, by the way, James didn't respond to any of the positive tweets, only these two. Actually, this one negative one and this kind of not even really negative one, just asking a genuine question. The first one says, white man bad, black man good. What an original film. It's not a concept that's plastered everywhere at all. All right, first of all, if you want to have like an honest conversation, you do have to acknowledge that yes, we have been getting a fair amount of media that pushes this kind of white man bad, black man good narrative. It just is the truth. It just is. I mean, Jordan Peele's Get Out was literally about a racist white family that abducts and takes over the bodies of black people, you know? Like you cannot in good faith argue that we're not getting a fair amount of media that is about how white men are bad and black men are good. We just are. And yes, you could argue not all white men and not all black men, and yes, of course there's nuance, but just in general, yes, we are getting movies that have that premise going on. You can't deny it. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's just the way things are. That's what we're getting at this time in our history. Well, then James replies and says, "Damn, dude, are you that fucking stupid publicly?" So this guy, who is probably the most famous horror movie YouTuber today, who is a multimillionaire because of the money that is given to him by the people who watch his channel and support him, is just out here insulting people, just out here calling people fucking stupid. Hey, James, you could have convinced this guy to go see this movie. This movie that you claimed you cried during because you loved it so much? You had a really big chance to try and convince this guy to go see that movie. You had a really good chance to try and convince this guy that it's more than just white man bad, black man good. But now I'm sure what you've done is just reinforce the notion in this guy's head that that's all it is because you're overcompensating, you're overselling, and you're just being a dick, honestly. I'm surprised that somebody with millions of dollars like yourself could be such a dick. What do you got all to be worked up about? I'm sure you've got a nicer car than I do. I'd bet you money you've got a nicer car than I do. So I don't know what the fuck you're tripping about. Then you get the next guy that says, is it actually good? Or are you just trying to be unique and socially conscious? This tweet's not even a bad tweet, in my opinion. I think he's just asking a legitimate question. It might be a little negative toward the guy he's asking you to, but it's a genuine question. He says, your commentary lately makes me question your opinion because it feels like you just have agendas and are no longer genuine. So again, instead of trying to convince this man that this is actually a really good movie and that he should see it, he just posts a screenshot from Rotten Tomatoes scores and calls this guy fucking brain dead. Okay, so these 2 guys aren't gonna see this movie, why would they? I think you've been trusted, you've been gifted with a platform, and this is what you're using it for. And now at the same time, to fire back on the other side, the people who are on Twitter saying that, they don't wanna see the movie because it's a DEI movie or some weird shit like that. That's been a big thing. Apparently, there's, like, DEI movies, which I don't know. I thought DEI was, like, when Target hires people that don't speak English. I didn't think we were getting, like, DEI movies. I was not aware that was a thing. But, yeah, you also have an entire crowd of people that are like, "Well, I'm just not even gonna see it." Okay, well, the movie really could be fucking a good movie. There's probably a decent chance it's a really cool movie. Like I said, I'm very interested in just the plot alone. Just vampires in, the time period that it's set in, I think sounds awesome. Just people need to stop making up their minds about movies before they see them. I understand why they might want to. I understand why you might see some promotion for a movie and see the reaction to it online, and you might get this idea in your head, but you need to fight that idea off. You need to not let anything hinder your opinion on movies, basically. That's kind of the main point about this whole entire thing that I'm saying. I don't like the side that is pretending like this is a Stanley Kubrick movie, and I don't like the side saying that they're not gonna see it because it's a DEI movie. You know, the main point of everything here is just go fucking see the movie if you want to, and if you don't wanna see it, then don't see it. Hopefully, a famous YouTuber doesn't call you brain dead, and hopefully somebody doesn't, I don't know, piss in your Cheerios. It's all just fucking retarded. Let's just call it what it is. It's all fucking retarded. If you wanna see the movie, go see it. If you don't wanna see it, don't see it. And obviously this argument has been going on all over Twitter. I've got tweets bookmarked for days about, that are back and forths from people. You got a guy asking, "Is this hype real?" There's a guy here on a post from Discussing Film. This guy genuinely asks, from what I can tell, looks like a very genuine question. He says, "Right, I'm sure the movie is a good movie. I'm not a horror fan, so I'll probably wait to see it until it comes out on streaming. However, I find it really odd that people are acting like this is the greatest movie since Schindler's List or something. Is the hype real?" Just wants to know, hey, anybody that's seen the movie, is the hype real? Should I believe it? This guy said, "No one is comparing it to Schindler's List except you." He says, "The movie is fantastic. It being fantastic shouldn't make you this insecure. Also, maybe shut the fuck up until you've seen it. How do you know the hype isn't real if you have not seen it yourself? You sound hateful and jealous." Again, in the original tweet, all the guy says is this hype real? People don't want to see these movies because of these people on Twitter that act like this, review and talk. I mean, this is fucking ridiculous. Here he is with more tweets. Like all of his tweets here are about Sinners. Like this is all him arguing with people about how Sinners was so good. It's just it's kind of just like insanity. And this still goes on with all of like Jordan Peele's movies. I keep referencing Jordan Peele because that's just the best example. I've seen people on Facebook in Facebook movie groups say that basically what I said, that just, hey, Get Out just didn't really do it for me. It's a cool movie. It wasn't my favorite. I had a problem with this, something in the writing here, something in the direction here. And people will call these people racist. I've seen people get called racist because they don't like the movie Get Out. I've seen people get called racist because they don't like Nope. Dude, don't get me started on Nope. Nope is a bloated mess of wannabe artsy fartsy nonsense, which I love. Don't get me wrong. I love artsy fartsy nonsense, but Nope was like a notch too far for me. But yeah, people will call you racist if you don't like these movies. It's like, okay, well then I'd rather just not see them. Because when the question starts going around, did you like this movie? Do you like this movie? Did you like this movie? Did you like this movie? When it gets to me, I'd rather just say, "Oh, I didn't get to see it." Just pass by me and go on to the next person because I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to even form an opinion on this movie because there's a very large chance that if my opinion is not the right opinion, I will be called racist. Or James A. Janice from a YouTube channel with what, over 5 million subscribers? If I have the wrong opinion on a movie, a YouTuber with 6.7 million subscribers will call me fucking brain dead and stupid on the internet. And I think it's bizarre. You know, James A. Janice, your whole thing is you want to talk about movies and you want to get people into these movies and you want people to learn about these movies through you and learn to love these movies the way that you love them. Yet when they don't agree with you, you're out here calling them stupid and brain dead. I think it's kind of egregious to be honest with you. So, at the end of the day, like I said, I'll end up seeing Sinners, but it will be not because of James A. Janice. That's for sure.
And we're all here today to groove and have a beautiful time together, and that it's only the beginning. Sometimes I think I'm drunk, and then I realize I am drunk. Sometimes I think I'm drunk, and then I realize I am drunk.